I found out about migratory beekeepers because I like to garden, and this was at the beginning of colony collapse disorder when suddenly lots of bees were dying, and I began reading about bees and beekeepers, and that's when I found out about migratory beekeepers. And I had an image one day of a kind of rusty truck just going along a country road, gravel pinging off it. There were kind of trees overhead, and just a flash of the side of someone's face, and I somehow knew it was a young girl and she was with her father, and the mother wasn't there, and there was some kind of sadness. This was just like that. And I wanted to know what the sadness was, and that's how I began. So that's where it all sprang from. What the story didn't come to me whole. It was me trying to find out what was going on with those two characters.
I was just amazed at it. That is exactly the way I felt as a child, not wanting to ask questions, but waiting for the answers to come to me. So that was perfect all the way through the book. And I want to know how you decided to develop it that way, or what made you put together a child psyche like you did.
As the writer, I knew pretty quickly what had happened, and knew that Lissy wasn't going to get the full story from her father for reasons of his and his wife's history. But I was curious about how children navigate. They're always navigating the world. They never have the full story. They're always getting bits and pieces of information. And this goes on when she comes back from that 2-week trip. And at the end of the summer, she's going back to school, and she's running into schoolmates and mothers and catching little tag ends of sentences and trying to build a picture of what has happened. And it takes her a long time. And her father never really is totally straight with her. He's not misleading her, but for his own reasons, he keeps the secret pretty close to him. But this is how children have to get through the world, by figuring out what the adults know and finding ways. Go to the library is often a good answer. But yes, yeah.
And so to me, Melissa's dad was also trying to protect her.
He was. But he's also, I didn't make it explicit, he's suffering from PTSD. He came back from the Korean War, and they eventually, they had lived in a big city and they have to move because he can't handle that. And at that time, PTSD wasn't called that and was not recognized as that. So there was a certain amount of shame involved for the people who were suffering from it. And he is trying to control aspects of his own life, and he probably doesn't have the energy or maybe the perspective. He recognizes that Melissa's struggling, but he maybe doesn't have the energy to help her the way he might otherwise.
And so when she is trying to find out the answers about her mom, as she's growing up, you can see that she is building several emotions towards her mom. What are those emotions that we hear in the book or read about in the book?
At the beginning, she misses her, of course, and she keeps waiting at certain significant holidays. She keeps hoping that she'll get a card or her mom might come home, and then she begins to think maybe her mom doesn't want to see her, and when she finds out what has happened, she's angry, but she also, that also helps her understand what her father did. So it helps her heal a rift between her and her father.